Yes, we are live. We are live with our special guests, and they don't hold back. And too often, we are just not ready for you to. We are not ready for you to. You know what's funny? Before our intro, we were watching one of you this morning whilst I was having my breakfast and working.
Oh, is it?
Scary.
Oh,
well, I saw it last night, and I was like,
listen.
There's one video, one prank you did, but your mum-in-law pranked you, Tara, and I thought it was real. And I was like,
where she was spitting at me.
What?
Where she was insulting me, saying that baby cannot have manners.
I just want you to give her big props because Oscar is needed and coming our way. Tony, Emmy, because she got me 100%, and my mouth was on the floor. And then I saw the one when you pranked her in the car. Give her the Oscar again. Yeah,
I know. Listen,
so people need to tune in.
It's dangerous.
Yes, definitely.
Hey, all I'm thinking is that's dangerous.
Oh, of
100%.
course. Of course.
I can't do that. No,
There's another prank where what did you do? He was just being rude and telling me to shut up, and I was like, who are you talking to? And then I called my mum, and then we told my mum to shut up, and I was like, sorry, who? My mum? Are you crazy?
Was that a part of the prank?
Nah, so I didn't know you were gonna call. So, but because we was already heated, I was well in the video. I like to, really get into it. So because you called, I said, I want to shut up as well, man. And I didn't know what the response was gonna be.
Not my mum, because my mum's like Pepper, but she actually held it down. It's only when he told me to get out the car and he kept trying to kick me out the car. My mum was like, Tara, don't get out the car. Don't. When she gets spooky, that's when you know it's a problem. So, yeah.
Guys, you need to tune in to Meet the Thorpes on YouTube. The stuff will have your mouth open and that jaws drop to the floor. You know what I mean?
I have to keep rewinding it. I said, no, this is a prank. This has to be a prank. This has to be a prank. Black people don't act like this for a joke. It's death afterwards. Guns and everything. You know what I mean? But hey, so Little Black Book. Thank you very much.
Blue light special.
Blue light indeed special. Come on now.
Listen, when you got the blue light in the background, it's going to be deep.
It's an emergency.
Full in the red light district over there.
Full in the red light,
Red light district,
listen. If you want to prophesy on us, go ahead, bro. as long, anyway, let me say no.
It's still me and the Holy Spirit. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be like you guys. So, it's me and the Holy Spirit as always. You know what I mean?
Red means danger as well, so careful.
That's it.
But yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for allowing us to join you, should I say.
Yes.
And, this is Marriages where we have these conversations. It's a pleasure to be working with Kojo on that. And also a pleasure to be with the Thorpes. What do you mean?
Come on now.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And of course, man. I mean, you know what it is that there's not many couples that will put it out there so that everybody can know that everybody's kind of normal and crazy at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
And they're not putting it out there for the sake of putting it out there. You know what I mean? They're putting it out there for our edification. I want another word for edification, people.
Benefit, how's that?
For our growth, for our benefit.
You get that one.
Yeah. I'm handing over to you.
I want to know, why are you speaking on this topic? We are talking about infertility.
Yes.
Why this topic? Why, out of all the topics what could exist under your hat, Adrian, or in your heart, Tara, why choose this topic to speak on?
And let me just be clear, when I called you to kind of establish some of the topics we'll cover, about 2 months ago now, I think, you said infertility. And I'm like, when she said that, this is me, whoa, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, let's go there. So why would you want to go there?
I'll go first. I mean, everything that we've spoken about so far and everything we choose to speak about, I want it to be from our perspective. So I know that we've gone through it, and I know that I doubt we're going to be the only married couple to go through these things. So the fact that we can speak about them openly, there may be someone out there who it may touch. And our prayer is that we have some sort of impact in someone's lives where we can either help them. This is how we did it. It may or it may not work for you, but we've gone through it, and we may be still trying to get through, or we may have passed it, and God's helped us somehow.
Yeah, I mean, we don't talk on things that we haven't experienced. There's no wisdom in that. So the only things that we talk about are things that we've experienced, and yeah, this is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Just before we go ahead, I just want to double check with Kojo. Are we on both channels?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Just checking that.
Yeah, just double check.
We've been through this before, so we don't want to go through it.
Yeah. Listen, UK, you're on it.
Cool, man. Cool. And it is deep. Sorry, did you have another?
No.
Oh, no. Cool. It is deep. And what I would like you to do then is, this is actually hard for me to do. I don't often find things hard, but it's hard for me to do because whilst you said, look, go there, just ask us the questions. I'm like, I find it hard to ask the questions. I'm gonna try.
Yeah, you can do it.
If I don't succeed, Juanita's got my back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just want him to know, when I look at him today, I'm not trying to silence him like last week.
You need to do a Derek Jackson. Just hold his hands together. Just make sure he knows. Hold his hand just to make sure you know that.
It's a look of encouragement, yeah. So you don't have to lower your voice down or anything like that. You can,
what if I start shouting?
Then I will do a double look. A man of steel look.
Okay.
Just squeeze him underneath the table, man. You'll be fine.
Okay. Okay. So let's take it from. Obviously, you were dating for a few years. Is that right? No.
After we broke up.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we started going to church, and we kind of broke things off, and then we came back. We dated for we definitely dated for like 9 months when we got back together.
Yeah.
And then engaged for 9 months, and then married. All
right. And then you're Christians, and in that period, this is what women do. Tell me if I'm wrong on your part. Women have already planned out their marriage. They've planned out how many children they're going to have. They know the colors of their wedding at like 7, 8 years old. Come on, can you concur, Tara? What's...
That weren't me. I didn't want to get married. I didn't. At the beginning, when we were younger, when we were like 15, 16, we were like, when we get older, we're going to have kids. But by the time I got to like 19, 20, I was like, I don't want no children. I didn't care for a wedding. I didn't care for the color scheme of a wedding either. It's only once I got engaged, I was like, damn, man, these colors will look good together, But my thoughts on children didn't change. I still didn't want kids.
Right. And then, Adrian, did you feel the same way?
So I've always wanted kids. Always wanted them. And even up to, I don't remember having the conversation.
We never had the conversation.
We got married that she didn't want kids. I don't remember that.
We didn't.
I only remember her saying when we were younger, when we get older, we'll just have kids. We ain't gonna get married.
Yeah. So
then when we got married and the talks of let's try for a baby, and she was like, I don't want kids. I was like, what?
Oh gosh,
yeah,
you're taking a turn on me.
Contention.
What have I done?
You're already married, yeah?
Yeah, we were married. But the thing is, when we first got married, as soon as we got married, Adrian was like, right, let's try for some kids. Wait, bro, I don't even know you like that. Like, we haven't lived together for 6 months and you want a kid?
Just because we're married?
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we have to go straight into it. But at that point, I didn't want any kids at all.
Tell them what happened on the...
We went on our honeymoon and I may have thought I was pregnant. Now, don't ask me why I thought I was pregnant, because we'd been married and then our honeymoon was a few days later. So if I was pregnant, I would have never known. Anyway, I was like, oh yeah, babe, I think I'm pregnant. This guy didn't talk to me for 24 hours straight. He was stressing. He was on his phone trying to think of ways to make money. And I was like, but you asked for this, bro. You asked for this.
Listen, I've never felt faint before in my life except that time there. My knees all fumbled. I was like, I was seeing stars. I couldn't get rid of them. I was like, what is going on?
But that's how you know it's mad, because you would know. I don't know why I thought I was pregnant, and so soon, like, it doesn't even make any sense. I don't know what was going on. Yeah, I did not want any kids whatsoever. Period. None. Zilch. Finito.
Why wasn't it part of your life plan?
Because it sounds very selfish, but I just didn't want to give my time to another child. I wanted to enjoy my life the way that it was. I don't want to have to, like, for instance, like, examples, I like going for drives. So it could be 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll be like, babe, let's just go for a drive. It's mad romantic. Like, let's drive to Bournemouth or something. And then we drive to Bournemouth. If I have a child, what baby am I putting in the car at 1 o'clock in the morning? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to do me and live my life and not have to sacrifice my time or me for anyone else.
That seems pretty wise. Do you know what I mean? Like, look, there's certain things you want to do, you want to get out of the way, and you are actually being considerate. It doesn't sound selfish. It sounds actually like, look, I want to use this time to build with myself and my husband. I want to do the things that I do freely, and then you know what I mean. I suppose whatever we will be in the future, but I don't see it sounding selfish. I think it's quite measured, to be honest.
That's good. That's
because
nice.
some people do put the kid in the car at 1 a.m. and that's when we step in social services. So
that's where you get the social worker to roll up at your house, man.
You did a good thing.
Honestly.
But whilst there is, in my opinion anyway, I think in our opinion, there's nothing wrong with whether you want kids or not. It creates a situation when one of you does and one of you doesn't. So we're going to go there first, if you don't mind.
Let's go there.
Let's go.
So then obviously now you're married. Just because we're married don't mean that I want kids. You crazy. It's like, I want kids. And then what did that create for you?
Nothing but tension. Bare tension in the yard. Any talk of children. So all right, let's go to so we were kind of the first married couple in our church, our age. There was only maybe 3 other married couples.
And in our circle, we were the first married in our circle.
Yeah. There's only 3 other married couples who were significantly older. So when we got married, everyone and their cat expected us to have children first.
Yeah.
Now, our wedding, our wedding bridal party, I had 10 groomsmen, Tara had 10 bridesmaids.
And for anybody that's getting married, don't do it. There's no need.
Don't do it. I did it. Don't do it.
There's no need. None. But yeah, so go on.
So there came a point, I think maybe how many years? I don't know, a couple years into marriage, every single person on her team.
No, not mine. Yours.
Is it mine?
Yeah.
Every guy on my groom's party had a child. Some of them are on their 2nd and 3rds at the moment. And most of yours did as well.
And a majority of mine, yeah.
So at that time, I'm looking around like, what is going on? What do you mean? And then anytime the discussion of children outside of our home came up, Tara would just be anti, like, man, I don't know kids. And those words hurt me. Like, I wouldn't say nothing, but I'd resent her. I'd be just looking at her in the yard.
Like you witch. You didn't even tell me this before we got married.
Nah. So, I mean, yeah, that just added, because obviously our first 4 years of marriage was kind of mad. It wasn't great, innit? So
with that on top,
there was a lot of hostility. There were good times, but when it was bad, it was bad.
Yeah. And I think when you talk about like that first 4 years when it wasn't easy, I think that's commonplace for everybody. But when you have children, you can hide behind that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We've had friends back-to-back children. You just keep hiding behind the issues. all of a sudden the kids get big and it's like, it's me and you again.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So I feel that when you're saying that 4 years was a difficult period, isn't uncommon. But in that time when people usually do choose to have children, it's the same issues, but you hide behind baby's crying, got to change the baby, need a baby. Yeah, you get to hide.
I just want to throw a little spanner at Kojo, because you think you can just sit there. You think you can just sit there and look good. Like if you met someone of your dreams, man, and then she's like, "Nah, I'm not into the children thing," you know.
Yeah, it's not my dream, then, is it? It's a nightmare. I'm joking, but yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know. You know, part of me feels like, do you know what? I don't know. Maybe it's just where I'm at right now. I really am selfish. I when I was younger, I really wanted, I want to be a father. And now I'm like, blood, you know what? Let little rascals take my money, take my time, take my energy. I'm really selfish with my time, my energy, and my money right now. So right now, I'm not really thinking about little rugrats running around. Honestly, let me look after my little nephews and stuff, and I'll be all right. I'm thinking about that. I would be, so I'm not really opposed to at this moment to say, if a woman said, I don't really want kids, at this moment, I'll be like, cool. I'm not really on that headspace to be wanting to have kids. I really want to enjoy my life, my wife, and my marriage. You understand? And sometimes kids get in the way. You little rascals are dangerous, bruv. Even though I was one of those rascals.
You know how many followers? You know how many followers he just lost right now?
Yeah,
trust me. So, damn.
So this is the thing. Was there a point, Tara, then where you wanted children since marriage?
Yes. So that slapped me upside the face real quick. So one of our friends got pregnant. So one of our friends got pregnant, and I was like, no, I'm good, right? And then a couple months later, my next friend got pregnant, and I was like, huh? What's going on here? And then you see them rubbing their belly and all that stuff. And that stuff normally just be like, why are you rubbing your belly all the time? Like, what's wrong with you? I was like, oh, that's a bit cute. And then when my friend had her baby, I was literally looking after her when she was 4 weeks old to help out, just to give her mum a little break and just to let mum go for a walk. And, you know, because it's hard when you first had a kid, from what I've seen. And when I spent time with that little girl, man, I was like, oh my gosh. I want to see my face on my own baby. If I feel like this, and even though I say she's my friend, she's like a sister. So her daughter's my niece. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want my own baby. I want a baby. If I love this baby this much, then how much would I love my own? And that's when, at that point, that I wanted kids. So maybe it was like 2 years later. Yeah. 2.5 years later, being married. So yeah.
And Adrian can tell what you're thinking or feeling. I mean, did you let him know that, you know what, I've had to change your mindset, or did you hold that back?
I saw that she was getting, I knew she was getting close because the baby was staying at our house. I was already attached to all of my friends' kids already. But for me, it's just like, I love them, but I love them not mine.
Yeah.
I love them, but they're not mine. So that was my whole thought process. I'm thinking, look, I want to see my face, our face on that child, if it's a boy or girl. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I ever was like, okay, babe, so I decided 2 hours ago I want a kid. It wasn't like that. It was just progressive. I don't know how we ended up in this, like, okay, let's try.
So, what happened?
I don't know.
We were still at the first house, and we were just like, no, I think it's time.
I don't remember that.
You remember that?
No. But sure.
We still had you had the mini.
Yeah, I'm not 100. I don't know.
Yes, we was like, I think I came to Tara and I was like, listen, let's try for a baby. Like, let's actively try. I believe nothing was happening for maybe a few weeks, let's say a month, 2 months, or whatever.
For what?
There was no pregnancy.
We're not there yet, babe.
Oh,
We're not there yet. We're on. When did we come to the kind of idea that we were going to make?
We were still in the first house.
It was like an aha moment.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Like
it kind of just happened, basically.
There was nothing that happened. I just said it, and yeah.
Was there much pressure around once you said it out your mouth?
No, I didn't feel the pressure. Did you feel pressure?
Yes.
For me or for
my
others?
You.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the pressure was mad. And I don't mean to be crass, but it was
Come
like,
on,
where was
let's go.
No, it's not Thursday. Tuesday.
No, I'm
right?
talking about, that's how we
Oh, okay. Ovulation day.
Yeah. Come on,
Yeah.
it's the 13th. We've got
So
2
he'd
days.
be
Let's
like,
go.
right. He's downloading apps and he's like, all right, so when do you ovulate? All right, so this day. Then I'm like, no, I'm going out with my girls today. He's like, you can't go out with your girls today. You got to come home first and then you can go out after. No, don't put that pressure on me.
It's the 14th, man. Come on.
Right. So I felt an immense amount of pressure from you. Absolutely, man.
Sorry about that.
So, yeah, you should be. It weren't, no.
You see, I think you lot are talking about apps. Back in our day, you had to take your temperature. Yeah, there was like a thermometer thing, and then tick it off on a chart and stuff like that to find out when your ovulation dates was. And I actually didn't know that there are 5 major days that a woman can get pregnant. But I had no clue. It was just like you do it, you get pregnant. Didn't realize that there was a time frame for it, and if you miss that time frame, and then we learned from relatives that if you go either side of the ovulation dates, you could get a boy or a girl. It started to become quite scientific. So I can understand. Imagine without the app and having to put a thermometer in your mouth, and
that's got to be a lot more pressure to have the app, because it's like you get a notification.
That is a lot more pressure.
Tonight, we just had an argument. How are we gonna navigate this one?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I see you pull a face, bro. Come on.
Let me tell you. I just remember one evening. Okay.
Come on.
We were driving back from church. We had a massive we was driving back from church and we had a massive argument. And we were in the window. It come out we didn't hear nothing in that sermon because we went in beefing and we came out beefing and it was war. And then we got home and we were both like, no, you was like, oh, don't even talk to me. And then I said, you're the one that wants the baby. Yeah. So why don't you do what we need to do and then you can leave? Do you remember? So I remember when we were arguing, oh man, that was so awkward. It was so awkward.
Proper awkward. And I remember words, her saying that I'm the one who wanted the baby. I was thinking, so what you say here? Is it just me?
Like, I'm not forcing you, you know. I'm not forcing you.
I ain't trying to be no one's chore, you know. I'll be honest.
Yeah. The pressure was real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gritting my teeth. You can't be that real with us, man. You ever take time with us, man? So otherwise you'd have to wait for the next month. And just in case you haven't, and of course the hormones will hormones affect you through the month, and so there's times of the month where you have a high risk of arguing, more risk of sensitivity, and so it's always a risky period. This week,
yeah.
What happened this week, man?
That's the risky week. It's the risky week, folks.
It's the week. Let me just mark that on my calendar.
There's that.
But so then obviously now you're trying to navigate that, and now you're trying. Anything happening?
No,
not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing. Nothing.
Not that thing.
No. And we went to the doctors just to kind of have a conversation. They were like, look, you've just come off contraception. You need to allow your body to kind of regulate and get back to itself and stuff like that. And still nothing. But
I think they even gave it a time, like just wait, maybe
6 months.
6 months.
And by then, all the hormones have left your body, whatever. And then I remember the worst thing about it is every month you think you're pregnant. So you'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm nauseous. No, is that nausea? I'm not sure. Oh my gosh, is that heartburn? Okay, maybe I'm having a boy. No, hon, you're not pregnant. Like, there's none of it. And yeah, man, if I was even let's not to be crass, a day late, I'd be like, right, Adrian, come, let's go to Asda, let's go and get a test. And
what pregnancy test we're gonna get this month, babe?
Babe, don't ask. We was actually buying the cheapest one. That's how often we were buying.
Yeah, we walked past Clear Blue. We walked past
£20 a time is no joke.
Nah.
Well,
anyway. But yeah, so it just wasn't happening for us at all. Like, at all.
Let me ask you then. I mean, I think you was about to nudge on that topic, Juanita. Religion, the church, the culture. Did that? Was there any kind of social pressure to have kids?
I didn't feel none.
I didn't feel the pressure. People would ask all the time. And I said, we were the first to get married, so we were expected to be the first to have a child first. When people were on their first, seconds, even now, people ask us, like, so what, no babies? Or someone hasn't seen us in a while.
For those that don't know what we've been through, they will ask, oh, so what, bro, you're not having no babies? I remember some girl touched my belly and she was like, oh, when are you going to get pregnant? And I was like, I've just had a miscarriage, hon, so maybe you shouldn't ask people those questions. But I was very sensitive at the time. So my response was sharp towards her, and it shouldn't have been sharp towards her because it wasn't her fault. It was just, I was irritated. And, you know, like when people are coming at you and asking you questions, I'm just like, I just don't want to hear it. But I know that people expected us to get pregnant pretty much straight away. Yeah. But I didn't feel pressured from it because I knew that's not what I wanted anyway. So no one can pressure me or make me feel any type of way about something I don't want to do.
And after the pregnancy scare on the honeymoon, I was like, yeah, not right now. Not right now. But even like Sunday, a visitor come church and he was like, yo, big man. He saw me with my my friend's two daughters sitting on me and playing. One's a baby and one's like a 4 or 5 year old, playing with my beard and he slapped me on my head and goes, you need one of them, you know, it's about time, you know. And he went to get Tara. I said, listen, he wants one, you know. And I'm like, he wants one, you know. And I was like, big one, relax. Just chill. You know, people don't get the vibe. Like, all right.
So you don't fight on every occasion? I could feel myself just railing.
I've got the ability to kind of brush things off. It doesn't really affect me. Sometimes Tara can.
I mean, very rarely now. But now, if someone was to say it's how it's said. Do you get what I mean? So with this guy on Sunday, you know there was no bad intentions, man. He's just like that guy. He's like, yo, guys, what are you saying, blood? You good, yeah? When you gonna have your like? There's nothing but well wishes. So it doesn't come from like a, oh, I wonder why they don't have kids yet. It doesn't come from that type of place. But there has been a few times where people, and this isn't in church, I mean outside of church, anywhere basically you get it, where they'll be like, yeah, she's not pregnant, you know. I wonder why she can't get pregnant. Those are the ones that I'll put in their place and be like, hey, hi, yeah. If you have a question, just come ask me. I'm happy to speak about it. But I think that before this, if I had seen someone that was pregnant, I'd be like, oh, when you're having a baby, it's only till when you experience it that you understand those are not the questions that you ask, because you don't understand where people are in their life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's true. I think I think sometimes tact. I've said tack all my life. I want to change it now. Tact is missing in communities, in faith communities, because we're so family-like. So people feel like they have certain permissions, you know, to say stuff or go beyond boundaries, like maybe even touching certain parts of your body where they have no business doing that. And I've seen that done, you know, in the lives of my friends, in ours, when we first got married, you know, you come back from the honeymoon, someone's going straight for your belly. So anything yet? I wouldn't know. It's only been 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let people carve out their own path. Let them have their own timeline without you being privy to it. Do you know what I mean? I just think that boundaries can get blurry sometimes in large communities where it's like we're family, so we can go. Not all of you, and not everyone's on the same level. Jesus had a small circle and then an outer circle. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel that we could be a little bit more tactful.
We could be a little bit more. Don't say nothing.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
So, someone is asking here, how long did it take to get pregnant? And this was at 8 o'clock.
How did it take? 5 years?
2018 to
1920, 21. No, if it was 2018, then that was 1920. 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years.
Okay, what
no,
happened?
so how long did it take? Oh, sorry, my bad. 5 years. It took 5 years.
What happened?
We lost the baby.
Hold on. Sorry.
We're gonna skip though.
Say again?
Oh, you're going to skip. If we answer this question, we'll skip a lot of information.
Let's go back. Let's get rid of that question for a second.
Okay.
You know what? Even before we get to that question, I'm like, you don't have to answer it. I just realized what's been asked. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, honestly, anything, we're good. No difference to us. Just ask away. If anyone's got questions, ask them.
I think we put a caveat in front of that. I feel that you've opened that gate for people to ask questions, but when you are asking questions, consider yourself sitting in the seat of the Thorpes. So while you're speaking to the internet, you're also speaking to lives, because I feel that sometimes it can let's just go anywhere and everywhere. Just put yourself in the seat of the Thorpes whilst you're typing your question.
Yeah. So thank you for that one. So fill us in before that point.
So
you got sick, but that's how we found out those PCOS, is it?
No, that's what?
The PCOS.
Oh yeah. So I got really, really ill, and I was basically in bed for like 6 to 7 months. Wow. So it wasn't like a major health scare or anything like that. I was just in pain all the time. So in my abdomen area, and after going back and forth, we went to a fertility clinic with my mother-in-law, and they were just outright disrespectful anyway. And then I was just in a lot of pain. And then so I kept going back to the doctors. Adrian kept making me go back to the doctors. And then I found out I had polycystic ovaries. So it's where you have cysts all over your ovaries, basically. So I wasn't able to get pregnant because of the cysts on my ovaries. Yeah. And during that, before we found out I actually had PCOS, they thought that I had ovarian cancer. So they were like, oh, we think you might have ovarian cancer. We're going to have to send you to the hospital. So there was a lot of zigzags trying just to get to the answer. And then we found out that I had polycystic ovaries, which is very common.
And then what?
And then...
So from there, we had to understand what polycystic ovaries were.
Yeah.
And when they said, I think, so fast forward, came to talk when we speaking about having a child, and they was basically, the woman, I think the first or the last woman in the hospital said, well, because you've got PCOS, it's going to be really tough for you to have children. So here are your options.
Oh, yeah. So she was like, here's your options. And she basically said, we can do IVF. And she was like, look, if you do IVF, we can give you a 40% discount because it's extremely expensive. So I'm like, 40% discount? Don't nobody give nothing for free. What do I need to give in order to get the discount? And she was like, oh, you would just need to give your eggs. You'd have to, what do they call it? Donate your eggs. So we've left the doctors, and I'm like, babe, that's not a bad idea. We should do the IVF.
Donate your eggs to who?
I don't know they did that.
Right. So when I got in the car, I thought donating my eggs meant I'm donating them for research. So they're going to see, like the eggs of someone with polycystic ovaries, whatever. I don't know. Turns out once we do our research, that it means that I will have to donate my eggs to another woman who
so
doesn't
you could
have
it out there.
Right.
Eesh, risky.
Right.
How that works.
But they didn't tell us that. So I was like, what? Thank God I'm a researcher. So I research everything that someone says, I go in and I research deep.
Wow. When we left, we were both like excited, like this is gonna happen within a minute or two. Tara saw donate to these people, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. But then she was like, no, because
my child will be walking around. I could go and get this 40% off, and the IVF not work for me, but the IVF works for someone else. I've just donated my eggs for what reason?
I can't remember the success rate, but they said
I don't remember.
Out of 3 rounds, it's not even 50%.
Especially PCOS.
Yeah.
But I think it was maybe after that happened, maybe 3 or 4 months later, it was like a scandal on the newspaper, like in the newspapers, that people have been donating their eggs and not knowing that they're donating it to another woman. So it's like, it's like GPs are pushing this and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank God. Not that I don't know how you would have known it was being donated to another woman, because I'm sure there's some sort of paperwork you have to sign. But, but it was like a big enough scandal for me to know about it, for it to be on like the Daily Mail and those kind of stupid newspapers.
So without the 40% discount, we're looking at thousands?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know how much it was. I kind of just put it to the side of my head.
I believe it was about 9 grand.
Maybe.
So before the 40% discount was 9 grand, and that was a free round. And let's say for less than 50% chance. So after 3 rounds, less than 50% chance at 9 grand, we was just like, what? This is mad.
Yeah.
This is mad.
Yeah.
It's an interesting set of numbers, because it's almost, it's better odds than you would get like gambling.
Oh yeah.
In a casino, we'll hit that. But it's like there's a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, 50%. Well, say 40%, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's high odds. I mean, did you consider it? Did you consider to proceed? No, you just said no.
After that, it was just forget that, man.
After that, I was like, I can't. Let's keep it real, right? We ain't got money like that, okay? So we have to borrow from Mama Thorpe, borrow from my mum, borrow from this person, borrow from that person in order for this. No, because you know what? If I'm going to have a kid, I'm going to have a kid. If it's God's will for me to have a child, I'll have a child, regardless. And that's kind of what my standpoint was. I was like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not, it's not. So yeah, that was kind of my thing. I don't know.
I mean, I was down until there was like Tara's face could be walking around, and it's not my.
I know you. That's not funny. It's not funny.
Do you know what I mean? You look similar to someone that I know.
This is what I was thinking. I was like, child, and we might not. And I was like, nah, man, forget this. Has to be another way. So obviously they said adoption, and I'm like, no, because I want my child to look like me and her. I mean, you kind of, we saw a similar story. Someone else in America that had a similar story, and they adopted. They had this name. Remember that?
Oh yeah. So we watched this video one time, and they had a very similar story to ours. And they ended up adopting, and they said that God gave them a name for their child. And obviously she couldn't get pregnant. And then maybe like 2 years later, they decided that maybe they'd adopt. So like, let's just register ourselves. And, let's make a final decision at the end before, we kind of sign our name. And then the woman whoever works in the adoption facility, I don't know what her name was. She was like, there's a child that's just come in, and her name is XYZ. And it was the same name that God gave her. So they adopted her. So my next thing to Adrian was, would you consider adoption? And he was like completely against it. He was like, nope. I want to see my face on my child. I don't want to adopt. And not that it wasn't anything towards adoption. It was, he just wanted.
This wasn't right for me.
Yeah.
I haven't got nothing against it. If you adopt, I know loads of people that have adopted, but I don't feel that adoption was right for us.
Whereas I thought that adoption was right for us.
Yeah.
And
so this is interesting. This is interesting because this is, you can fall in love all day. Mm-hmm. You can think you married the right person all day, and one difference could caused the whole thing to crash. I mean, we can't always predict these differences.
Yeah.
And I'm thanking God that you're still together on this. I just wanted to we just wanted to just read some quotes.
Yeah, Jonah Thorpe says, I walked through the pain with you both. So I'm assuming that's somebody you know, somebody who's related to you.
That's
Mama Thorpe. Pick up totally. See, she needs beyond the Oscar, the Emmys, the Grammy, the everything else, but the crown of life. So thank you for saying that out loud. Somebody says here, Luke Young says, honesty and openness is saving someone today. So what you're doing is not in vain at all. Somebody else, I saw it earlier, said that they were walking through something very similar.
Wow.
Yeah, it did. There's loads of comments here, so it's going through them all. But somebody has said that they were walking through something quite similar as well.
Question, man. What did you think God was doing? Did you think God had cursed you? Did you think there was a sin that you committed that you needed to seek?
Personally, I did. I was like, I'm so sorry, Mum, for what I'm about to say. Don't know if you knew this or not, but I love you.
Careful.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. She loves me. I'm the best daughter-in-law ever. I thought because we had sex before we got married. Sorry.
No.
See, Adrian just ran off the screen.
What?
This is pre-salvation.
No. Adrian, I had you up there, fam.
Yeah,
you're moving like Derek Jackson right now because you don't have to relax. You know what I'm saying? No, jokes.
Because we had sex before we got married, before we were saved, I was like, Adrian, this is payback. This is payback. God's going to make us wait. Yeah. And that's when my relationship with God was more seeing God under, I want to say law. I know that we touched on it before, and there wasn't any grace. And I was like, Adrian, God is coming for us. This is exactly what he's doing. That was me. I don't know about you.
Can I, before Adrian answers, I just wanted to, I know that space. I know that space with God when we feel that's how he's responding to something that we've done and at this payback time. I just wanted to ask Kojo, especially in the light of the talks that you've been doing around faith and around grace, what's your response to what Tara said?
Yeah, man. I think we've all grown up kind of thinking that when we first, because if you grew up in church, you might have heard some rhetorics like that. You might have heard people say things, and you've just taken it on as gospel. And so when you first come into the faith and first give your life to Jesus, you actually really do think that it's a if I do bad, he there's a consequence. Like, I sinned last week, that's why this bad thing happened to me. And sometimes it can look like that because there's confirmational bias, right? You do something bad last week or whatever, like you steal from the shop. Like some of us were not paying for all our, all of our
clothes,
bakery stuff, the bakery stuff where you took an extra bakery and then it doesn't weigh correctly. And then, what happens, you lose a $5 the next week, whatever. You're like, God. It must have been when I did the bakery thing. God is trying to get me back, trying to equalize things. And actually, that's not how God works. There are consequences to action, but that's not how God is working. And if he was working like that, we'd be dead. No, I'll be honest with you. If that was the way, we'd be dead because the things that we do, sin equals death. So God doesn't work like that. But yeah, many of us grew up in that kind of thinking that, I've done bad, God must be punishing me now. And it takes a little while to get out of that framework. And actually, God is not punishing me for those things. Christ has already taken all that already. But there is consequences to actions, guys. So don't be doing anything like me. But yeah.
Thank you.
Don't be stealing
stuff. Tesco shout out.
On the electronic scales, don't do that.
Yes, you have to know all those things.
Adrian, what did you think God was doing to you?
I didn't necessarily think that God was doing anything to me, but I just thought I wasn't doing something that I needed to be doing. Yeah, I didn't think I was being punished. In that time, to be fair, I was more concerned about how Tara was because she was very vulnerable, and I can see her getting. In my head, I felt that she was failing as a wife because they had said that she had an issue. So I didn't want to be a bully and be like, it's your fault, it's this, that, and that. I wanted to support her as much as I could. I'm not sure if I did that or if I succeeded in that. That was what was on my head. My mind wasn't so fixed on what God was doing to us. It was just, was I doing anything wrong? And I don't want her to take the blame for what is happening.
This is a big topic. I think people, it really does, and I think we might do it near the end. Then let's. I was going to make a comment, but I'm going to go back a little bit and just look at some of the comments. Harriet, you have to rewind, man. You have to catch the whole thing.
I just wanted you to know that it looks like Mama Thorpe already knew that you was doing the do. Yeah. She said she wasn't born yet.
We thought we were like
slick
at it. I'm so sorry, Mum, man.
It was written all over your face.
Honestly, that woman is nothing. Honestly, when I think of his mum, not to detour, but she never treated me like she knew. Do you get what I mean? In terms of like what his mum's gone through and the kind of woman that his mum is. I mean, she gave me a hard time the first couple of years. I mean, from a teenager, but she's a woman of God. And I don't like to say stuff like that, like woman of God, man of God. But when I say this woman is a woman of God, I would have never known that she knew at all by her behavior and the way that she carried herself and the grace that she had. Never, ever.
That's a special mum-in-law. Makes the journey easier. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, telling you.
Michelle says here, there are so many experiences of infertility in the Bible, but they are always used as a faith lesson and not encouragement. I don't really understand that then, and not encouragement for the infertility journey. Okay, not sure what that kind of means. We don't talk about it enough in church. She's right there. And Emma says, God is so gracious and he wouldn't punish you like that. Thank you, Thorpes, for sharing your journey so openly. I do believe that God has blessed you and is blessing you. I will be praying for you both.
Thank you.
I'm going to read that again. God is so gracious and he wouldn't punish you like that. Oh, no, sorry, not that one. No, one before.
Yeah, sorry.
There are so many experiences of infertility in the Bible, but they are always used as a faith lesson and not encouragement for the infertility journey.
I didn't understand it.
Yeah, it's just the way it's worded. We don't talk about it enough in church. It is interesting. I think that the way that infertility has been presented and preached in our church is that it was sometimes a response to sin. And I can imagine it was at times
problematic.
But what people do is they take one event and translate it into every action and reaction. The question I have for you is, where are you now when it comes to your perception of what you're going through? Yeah.
Oh no, this is just a season, man. It just is what it is right now, and I don't take it lightly that we are where we are now, because I believe that, you know, our steps are ordered by God. So I'm not out here trying to rush something or do something that's not in God's plan anyway. The only person that can bring life and death is God anyway. So there's nothing that I could do to rush the process. But yeah, no, I don't think it's a punishment from God at all. I think things that we've gone through, the only reason why we can speak about the things that we've gone through is because we've been through it. So I definitely feel like we're going through this not just so we can help other people, but I think a major part of it is to encourage and help others, because we openly speak about things and have kind of no kind of barrier in talking about these things. So I'm cool. I'm good.
I mean, where we are now, we've gone through what we found out. She had PCOS.
Do you think God is?
I know, but I'm saying this is how I see it in my head. We found out she's got PCOS. We're now dealing with that. We found out that it's difficult. We know IVF is not an issue. No, adoption is not an issue. I don't want to foster. What have I got left? I've only got my faith left. Now, I've had a miscarriage since that's happened. And again, in that, because before it was like, oh, we couldn't have kids. Now it's just something standing in the way. Then we had a child and we lost it. So for me, I'm like, amen. Like, this is good. Although it's a loss, it was good because now I can see my faith is just not in vain. I believe that it happened. The only answer I haven't got is when. That's the most frustrating thing. Now, I don't think of that often, but when I do, it's like, oh man, I want it to be. I don't want to be. I've always said I've never wanted to be an old first dad. I don't want to be the 50-year-old running after a 5-year-old. It don't work for me. It doesn't work like that. But I've seen it happen.
Yeah,
I don't want that portion myself. So I'm 32 now. So I would say in the next few years, I would want my child, my first one. I'm still hopeful because I'm a Christian. I have to have faith. And because I've got faith that God will honor when the Bible says, be fruitful and multiply. And I stand by that. I stand by being a Christian. It's what I live for. And having a child with my wife is always on the cards. So it's like, it hasn't happened yet, but the big word there is yet.
I want to ask you a risky question.
Go for it.
What would your faith be if the answer was no at 50? And I'm asking in light of we just generally do not know God's plans, and He generally doesn't reveal them to us. So let's say you're 45 and nothing's happened. What about your faith and what about your heart?
Can you speak that far?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
Is that for me or for Adrian?
Both. Yeah.
I don't think I'd get to 45 and be like, oh man, we've been trying and now it's not happening. I think you kind of, in my head, I'd be like, okay, by the time of like 37, 38, if it ain't happened, then I need to find another avenue. Maybe it is adoption. Maybe I won't adopt the baby. Maybe I'm going to adopt. Because there's people out there that need a home. Do you get what I'm saying? That their parents couldn't look after them. So maybe I could be that person. In terms of faith, I would hope, because I'm not there, I would hope that I would, if it's not happened yet, that I'm getting in line with God's will, because it's not about me. The life that I live right now is not about me. So there's many things I want to do. I mean, I used to sing properly and nearly got a record deal. I gave that up. I gave up the idea of even having that anymore. So there's things that, the Bible talks about picking up your cross daily. Maybe that's a cross that I have to pick up daily. Maybe that is not my will. Maybe the will for us is that, there's this little boy or little girl that's in foster care somewhere in Wandsworth Council, and he's meant to be with us or she's meant to be with us. So I would hope that I could align myself with God at that point.
Yeah, I love that.
With me, I'll be honest, I think about this, I wouldn't say often, but when I do, I'm like, I don't know. I haven't got an answer for it. I can't say where my faith would be. I'm still wrestling with that. It's like, it's a hard pill to swallow. I remember when I first went bald, when I saw a thinning in my hair, I was like, you know what? This is long. This is long, but I'll save it and I'll just rock beard and a ballad. All right, cool. But 45, 50, no child yet? I don't know. I really don't know. I would love to say I'm serving God, singing
the perfect answer,
singing the praises, but it is hard.
Yes.
But I don't doubt that God will bring me through it. Like, I don't doubt that. I know, well, I hope it's not going to be hard, but right now, seeing it, trying to envision that, I don't know.
People need to know that on this channel, we do not give the right answers. We just give how we feel and what we believe is true. So
What
I
we're
appreciate
walking
what you're
through.
saying.
Yeah. It says here, Emma says, the faith that you guys are talking about is so powerful and tangible. Such a powerful testimony. She also says, how did you both develop such strong faith? What practical things would you advise to continue to build our faith in the midst of trials? Big question, life question.
Personally, for me, faith came when the 4 years in our marriage, and I said I'm over it. And somehow, like I said a couple of weeks ago, I ended up a few months later sitting on the chair laughing with Adrian, saying, "Oh my gosh, I actually like you." And the reason why my faith was so strong is because I knew that every morning Adrian was waking up at about 5 a.m., 4 a.m. to pray for me. So I knew what he was doing. And at the end, I'm like, right, I'm the result, or this laughter is a product of his prayers. And that's when my faith was like, it was unstoppable at that point. What practical things would you advise to continue to build our faith in the midst of trials? Okay, so I read this the other day, and basically the woman was saying I'll say we, but I'm not talking about anybody here. I'll talk for myself, that we tend to go to God as the last point of call rather than the first call. And the only way to build your faith is by making God your first call, even with the smallest of problems, like the smallest. I mean, you could walk out and you've got, I don't even know what the smallest problem is, but I've learned to now put God first. So if I was going through something, the first person I'd call is my pastor, or I'd call my friends, or I'd speak to Adrian. And I'm like, why am I going through everyone to get so that let me just go directly to God. And that's how I continue to build my faith, by going to God first. I read a lot of books. So I just finished a book called Dusty Crown by Heather Lindsay. I'm on a new book called Total Forgiveness. I read a lot. And I kind of commit myself to it as if I was at university and I was studying a degree, I would study that. I wouldn't just watch a sermon and then be like, okay, well, that's enough now. I want to study what you've just said and see if what you've just said is correct. So that was a very long-winded answer. I'm very sorry. But yeah, that was me.
So faith for me, I would say I've seen faith throughout my years. Even when I wasn't saved, I sort like I've got a broken arm where I was meant to get amputated, and because of prayers by my parents, their church, people that were just praying for me, it didn't get amputated, didn't it? And I just got a surgery because I pierced all the main arteries in my arm. I'm broken so many places, had pins in my elbows. I've been sick. I saw Tara sick in our first few years of marriage. Even today, like
honestly,
I don't know to speak about.
Yeah, I don't mind. Go on.
So a few weeks ago,
months ago,
Tara said that she found
lumps in my chest.
Some lumps. So we made the doctor's appointment.
They found lumps.
They said, "Oh my days, we need to send you off to a specialist. Wait for the letter to come through, and then you'll get an appointment." That appointment came. You missed it, and then
I put it off.
Yeah,
I've been putting off the letters, man. I was like, I'm not going. All I feel like I'm getting is blood tests here, this here. And then I went to the appointment today with the consultant, and there's nothing there. So yeah, back to your faith thing.
So on the way home, Tara was like, "Wasn't you worried?" I said, "Not all the time." That's only because I kept praying. And I was like, "Look, God, if there is something there, take it away. And the things they found, take it away." When we left there, she said to me, they said the lumps weren't there. And I was like, cool. And she just kept asking me, "Were you worried?" And I'm like, "No, not all the time. Not all the time. And I knew Tara was worried. So I would try not to pray over her to get her nervous. I wouldn't make her feel that, this is going to be such a problem. Because we know someone who died from cancer.
Yeah.
And sometimes she did reference,
My family,
even in your family, yeah. And she did reference that sometimes. So, but I'm just tunnel vision. I'm saying, look, I don't even want you to speak negative, because what we need to do is speak life. And she already, Tara's a person, she just goes off with her mind, and if she has something in her mind, that's what it is. So I'm saying, listen, Tara, you just gotta think the opposite. Remember yesterday, I was just like, just try the opposite of what you're doing. Right now, I'm in this thing of faith. I'm like, you're not going to be sick. You're not leaving me here. Like, no way. So my thing of faith is like, okay, cool. Pray it, leave that with God, and your hope is in that God will hear that prayer and answer that prayer.
Yeah.
And I just truly believe that, innit? I truly believe that. I'm not saying that always works, but I'm saying that's always my solution. That's what I go to. Some people believe in crystals, some people believe in Krishna, Buddha, Selassie. That's not me. I believe in a God who saved me. I believe in a God who can save others, and I believe in a God who healed so many others and is still healing right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to remind yourself what's in the Bible can happen to you, because we often hear these stories as stories, but these are real things, and they can happen right now. The Bible is a timeless book. And if you get frustrated, just tell God, listen, God, it's in your word. Do this for me, please. I beg. No.
Yeah. Emma says you guys are ministering to me. Ministering means kind of like relating, reaching out to me, encouraging me. 2 years ago, my mum was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Being a medical doctor, I chose to go to God first, like Tara said. My mum was miraculously healed and alive. Seeing people my age, let's give it a pause, innit?
Wow.
I rush through that.
Continue. It's just my phone. Continue.
It's okay, bro. Seeing people my age walking out their faith like this is so uplifting to me, especially while sometimes feeling hopeless in other areas. Q Comfort says, man, I really wish that people would understand that's just how God works. If you believe, stand firm and trust in him, man, he will blow your mind each and every time. We thank God Almighty.
Yeah.
This is it. Sorry, did you want to say something?
No.
I think it's so important this is, every time I've come online with you guys, it has been, I've only told you where I'm going, but only in part, but you have gone exactly where it needs to go. In that, and I don't want people coming here. I don't work with people who gloss up the gospel beyond what it is, because the gospel doesn't add up for everybody. But what you guys are presenting is reality. And I'm going to put it out there to any pastors or any elders out there who are listening, that this is what church should have been a long time ago, in that we need to be able to say what we're going through. We don't just need sermons, we need also people to testify. And I want people to know that this was the aim. I want people to be encouraged with the reality that they're in and the supernatural power that they have in God, but appropriating it so that it makes them not tell God how it's going to go, but live within sometimes the unknown will of God, and do it gracefully, which is what you guys have done. One more comment here by Shanice. What are you laughing at?
He said comment. The spooky came out.
Okay. A comment by Shanice. This is really powerful. I'm thankful for Adrian and Tara being so transparent about this. This is such an important topic and needs to be spoken about. Oh, wow. Okay. So, So I'm going to hand over to you now.
Yeah. Just, I don't know, Kojo, do you have any comments or questions just with the landing the plane?
Just that, I don't know how I'd handle a situation like that. So the fact that you guys are transparent and honest enough to share your story it's faith in itself. You know, and it's inspiring, it's encouraging. And these are the, I don't know, it's a tough one, isn't it? Like I said, because I you know, I think listening to you guys' stories making me even think about my journey and faith with God. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it may not be going the way I want it to be, but I can't lose hope in God. And I think that's what I'm hearing from you guys, that even if it is not going the way that I want it to, my faith is still in the God that I serve. And I think that is the key component of this whole message. Yeah, man, it's heavy.
Beautiful.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
You know what? There was a comment up above just before you go there, one. And it was someone who said, "Why is infertility not a blessing?" And you know that got me. Someone said, "Why is infertility not a blessing?" And it's not to belittle anyone's experience. It's way up there somewhere. It was really a perspective to say, and I know I'm a man saying it, it's easy for me to talk about it. And I have children, so it's easy for me to talk, but I'm saying that it's not.
Why do we perceive infertility as negative?
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for, who was that? Jay. And that's a perspective to say not everything is a curse.
Yeah.
And really, we can also get a lot of blessing out of adversity. I can only encourage you, but I have nothing more to say on the matter because it's not my situation. But I'm going to hand you over to Juanita.
I just wanted to say thank you for allowing us to walk through this journey with you, and just to understand, most importantly, how you've managed to maintain your relationship during this thorn. You may consider it as a thorn, you may not, but that you've also considered that the will of God is a big thing, and you're happy to be within it wherever it takes you. And that's what you spoke about, picking up the cross daily and walking. I think there is a tendency for us to leave this part out of Christianity, and it's just bells, whistles, and parties. But there is a real part where it's like you're surrendering and saying, "It's up to you. You're in charge. You take us through." And the fact that you're sitting here, trusting Him, not without a struggle, because you're human, but trusting Him through that, it strengthened my faith. And so, as Adjoa for real has said, may His will be done. We've had to live with parts of our life story which hasn't been easy. We've had to live with that statement and being quite settled in it. May His will be done. And so we pray that for you. Just in ending, I usually ask this in the first person, or I just ask it to the individual, but I'm asking you as a collective to finish this sentence. We are.
I don't know if my answer will be the same as yours, but I want to say my answer is we are good. Like, we're good.
I would say we are working.
Nice. We need.
I'll say we need Jesus.
Right there with you, buddy.
We must
continue.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Continue the Meet the Thorpes journey as everything, ours, our marriage, everything. We must continue.
We can.
Do this. We can do this.
Sounded like Nike over there.
And we hope.
I don't even know.
That's tough, isn't it?
Proper. Don't mean to sound mad churchy, but my hope for us is that our strength increases. No, our faith increases in God, regardless of the journey.
Okay.
Like, if we never have kids, if we're never able to produce our own.
Deep.
I know.
So what was that? We hope.
No. Was it We Hope? Oh, yeah.
We hope for God's grace, mercy, and favor on our lives.
Yes, sir.
That's all we need, isn't it?
Mm.
Thorpe, it says Thorpe, the Thorpes, you are brave, beautiful, and blessed. Thank you. Somebody else says grow in love with God. Somebody else says do all things through Christ. Amen. And somebody else says for God to have the world he imagined when he created it, I want everyone to win. Keep the faith, guys. Sorry. Praying for your strength. That's what Marcus said. Has that been in my head the whole time?
I think so, yeah. I just want to say, do not change, man. You guys are on the money in your transparency, and a lot of relationships will need that. You have the thing that what you're displaying right now is in abundance. Some people haven't got an inch. And that is saving people now. In fact, it is that primarily with your faith that is really saving souls right now. Someone says that I had went through this one.
Yeah, could you just speak on our way out, on our ending? If you could just speak to Cheryl. It says I had went through an opposite triumph where I had no issues of getting pregnant. There was an issue of carrying, so I had to end the pregnancy. Would you leave Cheryl with something as we end?
Wow, that's a whole different.
Yeah, that's. Listen,
trial, boy.
I feel like, and when you talk about these subjects, you have to be very, very careful. Look, I don't say everything happens for a reason. I'm not like, oh, well, maybe it happens because X, Y, Z. But I think you just have to continue to run with the faith that God has got you. God has got you. I don't know why you've gone through this. I have no idea. But from my own experience, I just have to stick on the road of faith, because if I don't, and if I start questioning everything, then I'm going to come off that road of faith, because I'm going to be in my own head. So I just really, really want to say I'm really, really sorry that that's happened to you. And we'll be praying for you, Cheryl. I know your name now, so we'll be praying for you. But yeah, just cry out at the feet of God. That's all I can say. That's all I did. That's all I can say to you. But we'll be praying for you, man. That's deep.
When what's come to mind is two things. The Bible says, I lean on my own understanding. Now, in our situation, we don't understand what's happening, but we know who's in control. And the same thing with you. So you got in this trial, God may be trying to talk to you. So just lean not on your own understanding, lean upon God. Rest in his comfort. He's the Father of fathers, King of kings, he's the Lord of lords. He's gonna give you that support that you can't get in a man nor a woman. Also, pray for healing. God's a healer. The woman who had the issue of blood, he only touched Jesus' garment and was healed. You can cry out to God and just ask him, heal the womb or whatever it is that may be causing you the issue. Yeah, just be prayerful, get close to God, as close as you can get.
Wow.
Cry out to him. But I truly am sorry for your experience, Cheryl, and God will see you through.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I would say, don't let anyone tell you anything different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, listen, man. These comments are going to keep flowing, I know. And I would love to carry this on, but I want to thank you again for your transparency. And you've just kind of left me a bit heavy.
In a good way.
In a good way, man. In a good way.
The weight of the glory.
Yeah. lot to think about, seriously, because
Yeah.
this is people, you know, some of you, you know, you can't afford therapy. This is as good as it's going to get. This is the next best thing. And this is heavy stuff to consider.
Yeah.
So it's been edifying. Can I use that word?
You have to break it down now.
Meaning that this has been food for my spirit, food for my body, food for my mind, food for my heart. Again, Kojo, thank you for your platform. I know you're all about God, so I know you're appreciating this still.
Yeah. As you're ending it, someone says this is a Sila moment. You know, I have to break it down again. It's a pause moment. It's a moment to reflect. So you can hear it in our voices that has dropped a couple of decibels because we're just in reflection mode and just taking the whole thing in. And, you know, yeah, I'm just loving the journey that we've been taking with you for the past. Is this 4 weeks already?
4 weeks. Next week is the 5th week. We're running a session in the 5th week now.
We're gonna miss you guys. We're having you back, man, and we're having you in our lives. So thank you so much for your openness, and thank you again, Kojo, for the opportunity and the platform, and just for having such a conversation.
Yes. We'll see you next week. Tuesday.
What's the topic?
I don't know.
We always work it out. Work it out on the way.
We'll have a chat with them. We'll have to change it up a little bit because, you know.
It'll be lighter next week.
Yeah.
you know. Oh man. All right. Listen, let me leave it there.
Yeah.
Peace, everyone.
Chill.
See you next week. Might see you Thursday still. I don't know,
Yeah.
you know.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Stay lots of